Next Gen VR is finally here for the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S, and I am thrilled. Today we're talking about one of the most impressive games I've played on Quest ever, and that is Metro Awakening. Before we get too far, let me just say that this video was originally designed to be a gameplay video, just showcasing the game itself. And to be candid, this is a sponsored video, so I was gonna do a gameplay video just like I do with a lot of other games, but I decided that there was actually way more to the story than just showcasing some gameplay. You see, the Quest 3 is finally graduating. With a few recent launches, I've said similar things, but Metro Awakening really cements this for me. Story-based games have long been one of my favorite genres, while on the other hand, horror has definitely not been. But Metro Awakening strikes an incredible balance between the two, being so scary that I don't want to play it, and also telling such a compelling story with an amazing atmosphere and environments that I can't stop playing it. I'm at the middle of chapter 6, having played about 4 hours so far. There are a total of 12 chapters. Each chapter ranges between like a half hour to an hour worth of length. And this is the spot I stopped on because I know it's coming and I have to really mentally prepare myself. But I also need to know what happens with the story. The magic of this game. It feels very much like a similar launch recently, like they took the Metro game, the true game, and brought it into VR. Now, I haven't played a lot of the Metro games. I've watched gameplay. I did some research for this video, and I have to tell you that this game might be one of the most impressive games I've seen come to VR that takes a flat game and makes it into a fully virtual reality experience. The world feels so alive, and this is the Quest version. So we're talking specifically about Quest 3. It's coming out on other platforms as well, PSVR 2 and PC VR. But on Quest, it's incredible. And I'm gonna break down some of the reasons to why it's incredible. Number one, visually, it is very, very good. I played the demo on the channel a while back, and while it was good, this is something on a totally different level. What they've done with these environments and the detail in these locations and how absolutely horrifying it is to walk around some of these spots in the Metro really elevates some of these horror experiences that I've played to a totally new level. Now, this is more of a survival horror, not just a horror where you don't have a way to fight back, but that doesn't mean it's not horrifying. Everything from the fire in some spots to the detail in some of the texturing to the character models, the enemy models and how awful they look as well. It all just looks so good, better than most things that you would play on Quest, in fact. But the reason I'm really saying that this is next gen isn't just because of the visuals. While those are awesome, and the sound design is awesome as well, with an incredible score, terrifying music, sound effects that'll haunt you in your sleep. In fact, it has. I'm not even joking about that. What really strikes me as next gen Quest 3 is the game itself. The story, the acting, pacing of the story, the way that the environments adjust and change, and just how in-depth this whole thing is. Everything feels so big in the game. Now, that doesn't mean that there's full open environments. It's a very linear game. In fact, it's exclusively linear, where you're pretty much always heading through corridors, or when you get to a big open area, there's a very specific path that you have to take to go through that area. But it feels really big. In fact, I've played through half of this game approximately so far, and there isn't one spot, unless you're retracing your steps to go back to a location temporarily, that feels the same. It all feels extremely different. There is so many varied and different locations already in what I've played that it feels like the scale of this game is much bigger than it actually is. In fact, what they've done with this game is create an experience that is a true cinematic, epic story, and everything supports that. From the voiceover, which is superb. I will say one thing about the voiceover, there is a lot of language in this game, so just be aware that that is there. There is a fairly consistent amount of language, and it's not nonstop, but it's there. But the voice acting as a whole feels amazing, and it's another experience where I've actually feel like I am inhabiting a character inside of a world. Everything from the way the game is introduced in the introduction piece to the way that I interact with other characters In fact, a lot of this game, the majority of it is spent trying to save your wife of the character in the game. And the way that they've gone through telling this story in a first-person perspective, there are a few pieces here and there that do pull you back and give you kind of like a cutscene that is more third-person, seeing things from the outside, but it's very tastefully done, and it's very rare. 99% of the game takes place from your first-person perspective, but there are some weird things that you got to see that, and I'm not going to ruin anything, I'm not spoiling anything in this video, that you have to actually experience kind of from the inside out, or from the outside in, I should say. The varied cast of characters, from Max, your friend that kind of speaks to you through part of the time in your ear, is your radio friend, and to your wife, to the human villains, even to the mutated, absolutely terrifying underground creatures that you'll encounter. And let me say something about those creatures. I don't like fighting against dog type of enemies in games, and there are some insanely creepy moments in this game that will have you cornered trying to fend off these things, these beasts, from attacking you while watching your ammo and trying to charge up a station that actually had me quivering. I decided to actually play this game and record a lot of it at my home, not in my studio, where I could hear my kids and my wife doing things around me because it helped me ground myself to the world. That's how immersive that this felt and how scary it was. And my wife actually asked me if I was okay after that spot that I just described, so it is very intense. But like I mentioned in the past in other videos about different games, what Metro does right is create a world. It feels like you've jumped from our world into the world of Metro virtually, and you tend to forget that you're not the character, which is a very weird experience in VR these days because you're still wearing a headset, you're still interacting by pressing buttons, but as things become intuitive and as you start to listen to the story and see what's happening around you and discover just how in-depth that this world really is, you really start to feel like you've inhabited the character. And to me, that is next gen VR in every sense of the word. And the fact that we're finally getting that on Quest is absolutely amazing. These games that are coming out like Metro Awakening that are creating experiences that are on a new level for Quest 3 are what's going to, at least for me, make me want to continue coming back. Now, I play a lot of VR, but this game is one of those games you just don't want to put down because of how good the game is, how well it's made. You legitimately feel like you're crawling through the Metro trying not to die. That the game is so well done, and it is so engrossing. That's the right word, really. Not immersive, engrossing, because you literally feel like you're in this world. The sounds around you, the musical scores swelling, and then when the music stops, waiting for something to happen, the calling of those awful dogs in the distance as you're crawling through the tunnels, knowing there's one around the corner somewhere, waiting for it to leap out at you, the sound of the spiders crawling, and you know that they're there, but you can't quite see them, even the of the Geiger counter when you have to put on your mask. This game's mechanics are extremely well done. Everything from putting the mask on and taking it off, your backpack, assorted stuff that you have to do. You take the backpack off your back, you grab a grenade, you grab the mask, you grab a new air filter, how you swap it out, how you wipe the sweat or the grime off of your mask with your actual hand. I could go on and on because the mechanics of the game adds so much to how this game is a next generation title. Now, I know next gen gets thrown around a lot, and a part of that is because of console gaming. But to me, a next gen game is something that takes gaming of some kind and elevates it to a new level. Not necessarily hardware wise, although the Quest 3 is a massive win for what we can see and have in standalone VR. But between some recent games and Metro Awakening, it's really leveled up what I thought was possible in standalone VR and what I thought we were going to be able to experience anytime soon. This game really makes me just more excited to not just play this, but to see what else is coming. And I think that's an amazing place to be. Seeing some of these titles like Metro Awakening drop that are elevating these Quest games to a level that no one really expected. And seeing a game like this that I think is going to be very well reviewed and very well liked by a lot of fans, not just of the Metro games, but of Quest in general, I think it's a refreshing thing to see. Now that we're, a year out from the Quest 3 and the Quest 3 has just launched, It's an amazing time to be in virtual reality, and I think Metro Awakening is a big piece to that next-gen puzzle for VR gaming on standalone. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm so excited for you all to get your hands on this. It's been one of my favorite games that I've played in a long time. This year's been full of those. It's been a great year for VR, a great year for Quest, and I can't wait to see where we go moving forward. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and to see this space completely redesigned. I am redoing my office studio space and it's going to be amazing. I think you're really gonna like it. So thank you so much for watching and happy questing.